Well, October is here, and thus continues the deluge of great games coming out this year. And of course, another one that, well, I consider great, Cuphead. You might have seen it out on videos around the internet. Or one of the most obvious facts first of this Cuphead is the visual appeal of a side-scrolling action platformer inspired by 1930s cartoons, where you think of something like Steamboat Mickey or those old school cartoons where, you know, those cartoons, Shane, old school, like I saw this originally, it looks like Steamboat Mickey, the kind of old black and white style, very, very original early cartoons.
Yeah.
So I came into Cuphead expecting this cheery, bright, cheery platformer, family-friendly sort of thing. And you get into it and find that it's actually kind of really low-key dark. It's really creepy.
But the thing is, it hits that actual 30s like cartoon style because that's what it was back then. It was actually surprisingly creepy about like killing everything and the devil. But the game itself is such a delight. Even though it's creepy and like really, really dark, the world is so colorful and contrasting to the actual story itself. It's amazing.
It's a real juxtaposition, isn't it? It's something you don't really notice until you get into the game. It's something like, if you're playing it with kids, it's probably fine for kids.
Yeah.
It probably is fine for the family, because they're not even really going to pick up on just the fact that you're actually, the main character's tasked with literally going out and collecting souls for the devil. But regardless of all that, I think the main point of Cuphead is the excellent gameplay. I've likened it a bit to Super Meat Boy. It does play a bit differently to Super Meat Boy, because this one, of course, has got weapons, a variety of weapons. It's a little bit of a structure, but it's got that same style of super tight controls and a large amount of difficulty. The difficulty is really the main part of the game, where they've just balanced it. In my opinion, it's an excellent balance of difficulty. It's that type of game where you're gripping the controller tight, you're sticking your tongue out, you're trying your hardest, you've got to constantly be on the ball. So don't let the nice, fun nature of it fool you. It is quite a difficult game. So if you struggle with difficult games, it might be a hard time. Although I have heard of a lot of people still enjoying it while dying over and over and over again. It's
one of those games where I think that even if you are dying a lot, there is the simple difficulty if you really want to go there, but nah, who wants to go simple? If you want to be like trying and actually really succeeding in something that's difficult, it has a really nice feel to it when you like die 20 times to this one single boss that, you know, throws out a different pattern at you that one time, and then like the third time it's a different pattern, and even though it's like, oh man, I know everything, it's just I keep dying to this one thing, and then you do it, it's such a satisfying feeling.
I think what's one of the things that makes it really good, because it sounds a bit bad at first, it's difficult, you're going to die over and over again, and you say, like, well, I don't really want to do that. I think they're structured in a way that's really nice. A lot of the bosses will have varying phases, stages, and they'll be different each time you play it. So you're trying a boss over and over again, and it'll be a little bit different each time. There'll be different sub-bosses, different phases, so it's not quite as repetitive. And I think that's why they've kind of structured this game. It's mostly boss battles. There's not a lot of run from point A to point B. There is a few levels. They call them the run and guns.
Which really is basic Contra levels. Let's like, it's puzzle-based Contra levels, which I've done really, 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 really well, except for the part where you die and you go straight back to the start. They're difficult and sometimes in the wrong places, which is kind of annoying, but still actually really, really fun to like challenge yourself to it.
That's right, and I found the difficulty was great, the gameplay was great. The overworld, there wasn't a lot of, like the gameplay is awesome, the aesthetics, the visuals, everything when you're sitting down playing the levels is great. There wasn't a lot in between the levels. The overworld was a little bit underwhelming. And there wasn't a lot in cutscenes or anything in between the levels. It was just kind of a short still image here and there. And considering the presentation, the characters and everything about it, would have maybe liked a little more padding in between. But the actual game you get, it plays really well.
It's an amazing game, and if you actually can get your hands onto the actual gameplay itself, you will find yourself enjoying every moment. The problem is that there is some like small overworld issues, and there's actually a few save issues at the moment on PC. But if you can get past them, the game itself you actually play is just incredible.